Patreon, going strong. If you want to go over there and join in on the fun, we got 3 tiers on Canadian dollars. First tier is $3 a month, where you get these episodes ad free. You also get AMAs once a month, or learn about me episodes once a month. And then on the second tier, which is $5 a month, you get everything from the first tier, as well as coverage of a reality show of yesteryear. That's right now Jersey Shore, currently in season 3. You can also go to the main feed, where there will be the first episode of every season released there. So you can try that before you head over to the Patreon. And then on the third tier, you get everything from the first 2 tiers, as well as coverage from a true crime documentary. We got the backlog of Ashley Madison documentary, Man with 1,000 Kids, Into the Fire, Lacey Peterson, and again, all those episodes for the first episode of each is in the main feed, so you can try that before you head over. So if you are interested, you can head over to patreon.com/realityt times 2, and you can sign up for whichever tier you feel for. Again, you can try before you buy, which basically means you can try any tier for a week before committing to it. Even if you are on other tier, if you are on tier 1 or the first tier and you want to go over to the second tier, you could still try that second tier for a week before committing to the upgrade. So again, that is at patreon.com/realityt times 2. And of course, the link is in the show notes, website, social media accounts. It's all available there. This episode is ad-free on the Patreon. So if you want to partake in that, you can head on over to patreon.com/realityt times 2. Welcome to Reality Tea Times 2, the podcast where we discuss all the trash reality TV we love to hate. I'm Danica, and today we are going to be discussing B90. We're doing episode 3 in this episode. So I do want to talk about a couple things on top of the episode. We're kind of doing some hot goss, but before we do the hot goss, we'll just do a quick announcement. If you're interested, you can head on over to patreon.com/realityt times 2, where I'm doing the second and final half of my Tiger King coverage. I believe that episode should have already be out at the time of this coming out. And, well, maybe you should hopefully be out. We'll see. I'm trying to get it done. But either way, it should be out Tuesday, whether it's after this or the same time as this. And then what else? The other thing I was going to say. Oh, and then next week, we're going to be starting with a brand new documentary, which I think is The Staircase is what I'm doing next. I think. Anyways, that's basically it. So let's head into the hot goss. So I do want to talk about these things on top of the episode, because we are going to be starting with a brand new person for episode 3, which is obviously Lisa and Daniel. And I do also want to talk about Forrest and Sheena a little bit as well on top of the episode, just so we can get it out of the way. And so I'm making everyone know what I'm aware of, but I'm still going to be moving forward as if I know nothing. And then I also will talk single life very quickly. My thoughts on the cast, and obviously, yes, I'll be covering it. But let's just start off with the stuff about Lisa. We see in this for the first time in this episode. So, Lisa's sister, as we know, she spilled the tea on Reddit, and here's what she had to say. Buckle in, guys. She's a scammer too. I'm her sister, and she has scammed family and friends out of a crap load of money. Her daughter Faith has suffered the most. Every time her mom falls in love, she moves in with the person and or marries them. She has been unemployed up until 2025. She literally took thousands of dollars from our mom while she was alive. She lies about everything to everyone. She once told a homeless shelter that she had cancer to secure a place to stay and shaved her head. She had mental illness for years. You'll notice she talks sometimes with a southern accent. She's lived majority of her life in Pennsylvania. When she told me she was doing the show, I knew it would be embarrassing. I'm glad my parents are deceased and don't have to see this. Yikes. She took her family through so much. She once told her third husband that if he adopted Faith, my dad said he would, make sure we're going here, that he would leave his pension in his name. She's crazy and will make up intricate stories and lies to everyone to get what she wants. She reaches out to me when she needs money. That's it. I didn't know she was sending Daniel money and supporting him at all until watching one of the episodes. She literally Facebook messaged me begging me for $2,000, saying her and Faith were going to be evicted and asked me to give her money. I didn't, but she would use Faith to swindle my mom out of money when Faith was small. This is what she does. Faith has had a chaotic upbringing because of her mom. It has been absolutely devastating and horrible to see her train wreck of a life unfold on TV. She is unstable and could give a master class on lying and manipulating. I grew up seeing it. It destroyed my parents and put a wedge between myself and my parents when I would beg my mom to stop giving her money. She would cry. Cry she was broke, would get money from my mom or someone else, and instead of paying a bill, she would take a vacation, go to Disney World or Vegas. She would spend whatever she got and find a way to swindle someone else out of money. My mom gave her money once to pay her car note, and she went to a mountain resort and told my mom that someone broke into their room and had stolen the money, but they left the laptop and other valuables. Make that make sense at the last part. When I asked her if she called the police to report it, it was like $500 plus dollars. She said the resort wouldn't let her because it was a nice resort and they didn't want the police there. What? Okay, so many other stories. This is what she does. I had to cut her off. It was just too toxic for me. Then all of a sudden, 2 years ago, she claimed she was not mentally ill anymore, not legally blind, and the host of other issues she had were gone. I am the only remaining family. Our parents are gone, all of our aunts and uncles too, and cousins haven't kept in contact. I told her she needed help. She even had her daughter turn on me. Now that Faith is older, she's very much sees that her mom is not stable, but Faith has always been the parent role and Lisa the child role. Yeah, we saw that. She is not mentally stable. You can clearly see she's stuck at the mental age of a 13-year-old on the show. I begged her not to do this when she first approached me about Daniel. I warned her of scammers and the dangers of going over there. I tried to talk her out of it just like her best friend Juna and her daughter told her. She told me I was a snob and judgmental. Then she lied and said that Faith submitted her name to the show. But you can clearly see in the first episode that Faith was not on board with any of it. What a bitch. Seriously, what a bitch. Um, I mean, the thing is it's very clear that she's a manipulative woman and doesn't care about anyone else but herself. That's very evident. But to see that in kind of black and white with her sister's post is a very, very different experience. Anyways, that is that. I do also want to talk about the fact that we've been hearing the rumors now for a little bit about the uh, Forrest and Sheena meeting before. We've we've heard about that, and it does change things for me. It does change. It changes their first meeting, which I think happens in this episode that we'll be talking about. It just changed that for me, because it doesn't feel clearly authentic. I think that her meeting his parents is most likely authentic, yes. So I think some of the conversations that he has between, you know, the conversations between like mom and Sheena and the three of them, yes, I think that could be real because I do think Molly doesn't have a lot of boundaries, but it does change kind of the feel of things. But I'm gonna try and stay in the moment as much as I possibly can. Okay, let's do one last piece here, and that is the cast of Single Life. Okay, we'll kind of go through each person and what I feel. So first it's Liz, um, 33, lives in Washington. We know she was with Big Pred. How I feel about her being on the show. I don't dislike Liz. I don't. I think she's fine. But she's not a part of the original model. She's not a person who dated abroad. She's not a person who she wasn't the foreigner. She's just a person who, unfortunately for her, started dating Ed during Single Life. That's all she is. I don't know why she's here. Anyway, next we have Pedro. He's now 34 and he's still living in Georgia. I'm excited about this. I'm excited about this, but I'm not excited about who he's here with. That he's going to be with Sophie. I could care less about this storyline. I think this is so weird. But I'm excited to see him. We obviously haven't seen him since the final season of Family Chantel, which was, I think, 2021. So it'll be really interesting to see him again. So I'm here for that. Kim, 55, she's in California. Need I say more? I'm excited to see Kimberly finally be on Single Life. She should have been on Single Life before Jamal, personally. So again, another person who him and Veronica they weren't a part of they're just not a part of the original formula. And I feel like you need to be. Anyway. Colt, 39, and we might as well just say as well, Courtney. Courtney! Also, well, wait, he's 39 and she's 34. They, both from Florida, as we know. Um, this is gonna be really interesting for me because we're kind of seeing the demise of them, I think. As far as I know, they're not together anymore. Um, but I don't I don't I'm not disliking cults necessarily, but I rather live in this world where he made a comeback, you know what I mean? And I really want to see Courtney do like speed dating type situations like she did in Diaries. That would be great. I I don't know how I feel, you know what I mean? But we'll see how that goes. Gino, I could care fucking less. So let's skip right past that. Sophie, again, I could care less. I'm not excited to see her at all. And then Vanya, I'm excited to see Vanya. I think she deserves her moment to be on the Single Life, finally find love, because we know how it went with, what was his name again? What was his name? Who cares? He sucked anyways. And then the other guy that she found while she was there, what was that guy's name? Hmm, doesn't matter. But anyways, it'll be really interesting to kind of see her finally have her moment. Anyways, that's basically it. That's it for the announcements, hot goss, which I haven't done in a long time. Let's finally get into the episode. And that is, like I said, episode 3. So we start off with Laura and Burkham once we get there, but I'm not sure if we see them together in this episode. But she's packing up to go to Turkey. She's never traveled for this long. She hasn't even left the continent, so this is gonna be an experience. She says that since Michael cannot get in touch with his feelings where she's concerned, she has to move on to someone else. But I thought you already did that. Like, to me, it's like, I wish you would have figured that out prior to being with somebody else, but that's okay. So her parents are here to take her to the airport. This is gonna be fun, y'all. She says that her relationship with them has been strained since she started dating Burkham. They are very conservative and very Catholic, something Burkhan is not. He's not conservative and he's not Catholic. They pretty much take this opportunity, taking her to the airport, to say, never thought you would do this. And he's Muslim. Ugh, God. It's fine. God loves him anyways. His God, our God, all the gods. It's fine. It feels so irresponsible. Laura says, well, his age is my biggest issue. Apparently, they don't realize how big of an issue it is because they're like, so how old is he then? He's 20 years younger than me. Blasphemous. um, and I think, his dad's like, or her dad's like, what is he thinking? That I'm awesome. That's what he's thinking. I'm freaking awesome. Or that he wants a one-way ticket to the States. See, dad's onto something. Yeah, we'll get to it when we get to it, but dad's onto something. Has he said that he loves you? And she says, yeah, he has. That's the biggest red flag. He doesn't love you. Damn it, mama. I mean, yes, that could be true. Who knows? But to really say that to your child, he doesn't love you. It's a red flag. What the hell? So mean. She's like, that's not love. This is infatuation. Hey, infatuation because sometimes lead to love. I'm just saying. Do you really think this is going to last a lifetime? Yes. Yes, I do. My Lord in heaven. She really thinks this is going to last. Laura says, I'm already overwhelmed, and my mom is literally unleashing on me like this right now. But she manages to make it to the airport unscathed, kind of. If I'm not willing to take a risk for love, then what am I willing to take a risk of for? Just like we heard in the commercials leading up to this season. She's going to read a smutty book to decompress from that car ride to hell. So while she's reading that smutty book, we do meet Burkhan. He is into philosophy. He discovered Nietzsche. Can I say I've never heard of Nietzsche? I guess I don't know what that makes me. But anyways, he used to play football, soccer, for those who don't call it football. I mean, I don't either, but it makes more sense to me. Let's be real. It makes more sense to call it football. Like, really. You use your feet to kick the ball. Anyways, but he had a career-changing injury, and he couldn't play professionally. He tore, I think, like his ACL or his MCL, one of the two. So he met Laura on Snapchat. He's thinking that he wants to propose. He's got to wait for the right time. We meet his friends here, and we find out as well that he is not close with his family. So he's close with his friends. His friends are his family. He's never showed them her picture before, so in this moment he does. And one of the friends is like, how old is she? She's 45. She is old, but it's okay because he has dated older women before. Don't be telling her she's old in front of her face. The fuck? But there are things that she doesn't know about him. After football, he opened a couple of businesses, but they both failed. She knows that he's not well off, but she doesn't know the full picture. Then he mentions her friendship with Michael, and that could be potentially a problem for him, obviously. He doesn't trust him, and he says that if she doesn't cut off Michael, he doesn't know if this relationship will work. Well, goddamn. Hmm. Fuck Michael. I'm going ahead. Anyway, that is Laura and Burkon. Let's move on to Lisa, y'all. Oh my God. Oh my God. We gotta make a pit stop. Your mother needs to go buy condoms. Oh, so Lisa, she's 52. She lives in King of Prussia. I think I said that right. I don't know, Pennsylvania. She was with her daughter Faith. Bless her heart. Lisa does not know the difference between a playboy, a gigolo, which is a male escort, as we know, and a pimp. She seems to think that playboy is like a gigolo and a pimp is like a gigolo. Or wait, what am I saying here? A gigolo is like a playboy, and then the pimp is like a gigolo. It's not. So we find out that she's been married 5 times. 5. And we get the little bit of the rundown of her 5 marriages. So her first one led to an annulment. Husband number 2 led to faith. Husband number 3, well, he was more of a friend. Why, you might ask? Because she realized that she was a lesbian, and she has been with women for 20 years. What? And I only say that because of who she's here with. Well, the reason for the season. She said that she forgot men, but then she met Daniel. Make it make sense, y'all. I'm not going to go into details, but let's just say this is mirroring something that's happening to someone else I know. My goodness gracious. It's weird. It's just like, what the fuck is going on? She doesn't know why she's interested in him. Me neither, because he has a penis. But anyways, but he's a smooth talker, apparently. Which is he? Because of course we meet Daniel already at this point, and well, the point because I'm obviously further ahead and catching up here. Is he? Because I don't see the smooth talker, but that's fine. And she says, he better love me because this thing is itchy, y'all. My girl just pulls her wig off of the television screen. Girl, you don't take the wig off on camera. You don't take you you don't take you don't show the behind the scenes on the camera. You gotta keep that shit on, honey. Like what? She just pulled that thing off of her head like it's nothing. I mean, it was nothing. But my God, I wasn't expecting it. I mean, I was, you can kind of tell it was a wig, but I'm just, now I really can tell it's a wig, but I'm just like, my girl just ripped that thing off of her head just like that. Just nothing. She tells us that her ex made her cut her hair short. So now she wears wigs now and she's going to wear it the whole time that she is in Nigeria. Side note, I heard that she actually did that in order, as we just talked about, it's actually, yeah, we just talked about it. That she did it on her own volition to make herself look like she was a cancer victim and had nothing to do with her ex. Anyways, Faith says that they have moved 15 different times. This mother is not a mother. Anyways, so we see her buying these said condoms that she has not needed to buy for at least 20 years. Actually, scratch that. She said that she's never bought condoms before because she usually marries the men that she's been with. So she's never purchased a condom in her life. She doesn't know the difference. She doesn't know she should get ribbed. She doesn't know what thin means. She doesn't realize sizing. She doesn't even know the size of this man's, maybe she does know the size of this man's dick. I don't friggin' know. But she's just out here buying whatever she needs to get. The one thing that she does know is that it needs to be latex free because she has a latex allergy. It must have been really easy to be a lesbian for the past 20 years, not needing to worry about whether or not you need to find a condom that is latex free. I mean, it's exhausting. Can only imagine how much more exhausting it is for someone who's never done it before. Anyways, so she's like, this is not normal. They got different body parts. And the cleanup, y'all, the cleanup. She remembers having to go to the bathroom and just dripping on the way there. Oh my God. Ma'am, I am a woman who has sex with men. Well, just one man, to be totally honest with you, just one man. But, mm, yes, and yes, true. But did you have to make that graphic on this television show that we are here watching? Hmm. Anyway, but she's worried because he doesn't know the full truth. Oh, I'm leaning in. What do you mean? She basically admits that he does not know that she's been with women the past 20 years. Like, marriage 4 and 5 was with women, okay? She's been with women for the past 20 years. He does not know this. So she says she tested the waters and told him that she had a fling with a woman. And his response to her was, "How could you do that to yourself and to God? God doesn't care." Number one. Number two, she's fat. You know what I mean? He was disgusted. And here's my question for her. If that is the reaction he gets to you having a fling with a woman, what makes you think that the reaction is going to be any different when you eventually tell him that you have been with women for the past 20 years? And why are you okay with someone coming down on you about your sexuality? Make that part make sense. Doesn't make any sense to me. Because she needs to be picked. And I'm not going to talk about it in this episode, but when we get further along with the most recent episode that just happened this week, it all comes together and it all makes sense. Um, so yes, anyways, she got her condoms and they are latex free and we are good to go. Now we are at a hibachi restaurant with her friend Juna, as we just talked about. What kind of food do they have over there in good old Nigeria? Not hibachi, I can tell you that. But the hibachi guy just kind of inserts himself into this conversation. Probably producer told him to. And he's like, "Oh, where you going?" Nigeria. Nigeria, baby. That's where I can't. I just brought it down. I'm so sorry. So yeah, her friend Juna is very supportive of all of this for reasons I don't know. Lisa basically says, if Juna was a lesbian, she would be her ideal woman. Maybe we need to go out there and find a Juna instead of a Daniel, because weird. But Faith says, and here's the other thing. I'm sorry, I gotta continue here. Because I've talked about this with Ava as well, and it's kind of like, your first attempt at being with a man after 20 years is to be with an African man? Listen, now, not all African men, let me say, but when I look back at the African men that I have been with, a good 85% of them are well endowed. Girl, you could have started slow. I'm just, I would imagine the first time having sex with a man, when you haven't been with a man, it's going to be so nerve-wracking. But anyways, it's fine. Let's get back to this. Faith says, but he is love bombing. Maybe he is, but I think so is she. Anyways, it's a part of the romance scam is love bombing. They go for older women. Sorry to say, older women, but that's kind of how this works. Then all of a sudden, this is so good. Lisa's like, wait, hold the phone. Do I look like an old, vulnerable woman? Yes, you do. Yes. The answer is yes. But don't you send him money? Yes. The answer is yes. She does. She gives him money every paycheck for clothes, electricity. What the fuck was he doing before? Anyways, she sends it because she wants to make sure that he is safe, y'all. That he's gonna be okay. And again, as I just asked, what did he do before? before you. What was he doing? Does he not work? Yeah, but he's missed so much work because of the malaria. What the fuck? So wait, did he have malaria? Or is he just telling you there's a malaria outbreak and he's worried he might get it? Like I'm just confused about the malaria. Faith says financially they're struggling. Meanwhile, my guy has a goddamn generator. You know what I mean? Juna has been giving them money for bills, but has also been enabling and giving money to send to Daniel and for her visa to go to Nigeria to see Daniel. I hope he's not scamming, because if he is, he'd be scamming me too, ma'am. He's scamming you. I'm just telling you that right now. Lisa says that's between me, Juna, and Daniel, not you. The ones who punch I would have put in her direction after she talked to me that way. Ma'am, yes it does. Because the money you're giving to Daniel, you should be putting towards your household fucking bills. Like, you know what I mean? But that's not between you. Don't talk to her that way, you piece of shit. She's funny to watch, but I do not like her. Let me get that very clear. So Faith, you can tell, has had these moments where she probably feels beaten down and she can't express herself because she breaks down and she's like, there's no point in talking. And Lisa's response back to her is, good, good, good. It's good that your daughter feels like she can't express herself to you about some dumb shit you're doing again. Like, what are you talking about? Honestly, the best thing for Faith is if she were to marry Daniel, but they stay out there in Nigeria. It's the best thing for her to get away from her freaking mother. Like, it's ridiculous. She says, we have not been able to have a good conversation. So, like, I think we need to end this conversation. No, you need to have the conversation so it can be resolved and maybe your daughter can feel some semblance of normalcy. Faith says it always has to be over. And the way she said it, she has said it or felt it many, many, many times in the past. It's very heartbreaking. So she says, I'm done. And she walks out of the restaurant, or hibachi restaurant. She's like, now I'm worried about her. Now you're worried about her? Now you're worried about her? No, you're not worried about her. Otherwise, you would put her first. Now, I know she's an adult, but you've put this woman, your child, through so much in her life. You owe her. You owe her so much. She says, every time we talk, it's a fight. And Faith says, I am told I'm not allowed to feel the way I do. So she goes to talk to her and she's like, I love him. I know you're being protective. No, she doesn't give a fuck. She's not about being protective. She's just trying to make you understand how ridiculous all of this is. She's like, I will not marry him in Nigeria. Don't you worry. Hold on to that. I will not marry him in Nigeria. I promise. Just let me do this. Let me follow this through. Faith says, if you break this promise again, I will be done. I hope you stick to it. She's like, okay, give me a hug. Give me a hug, give mama a hug. I need space. Great, take the space, take all the space. She says she wants this to be with, sorry, I'm getting confused. She wants to be with him forever, but Faith doesn't see that yet, or whatever happened here. Faith says, I want you to think about us first, me and you, not him. She says, I am listening to you. Are you though? Because I don't think you are. Hold on to that too. Can I hug you now? Can you give mama a hug now? I'm going to listen better. And I am so appreciative of how good you are to your mother, despite the things that have happened. That's so dismissive. It really is. and making it about her too. Faith says, "Can we go home now?" Again, just feels so defeated. And it just makes me sad for her. Anyways, okay, let's do one more person before we go on break. Okay, let's talk about Aviva. Y'all, I'm gonna be raging. Um, she might miss her connecting flight, y'all. Um, but she got there with 4 minutes to spare, so all is great in the world. 12 hours earlier, we are in Santa Elena, Belize, and we see Stig performing. His real name is Erlin Dwayne. He says ladies go wild when he performs. One tried to actually literally get in his pants, like literally get in his pants. That's assault, my honey bunny. Like, that's sexual assault. What are you doing? We meet his team. We got Perf, who's his producer, Richie, who's his manager, Six is his best friend. So apparently he mainly dates foreigners. What's the reason for that? But he wants to breed a, she wants to breed, he wants to breed a, he wants a baby. Yikes, you haven't met her in person and you're already talking about getting her pregnant? Um, but he won't stop the partying. That's part of his career. And he's planning to take her to San Pedro for his show over there. What are you gonna do when women try to jump all over you though? When, um, taking his stride, I guess. He doesn't want her to get jealous because all of these women before get jealous when they say that they won't, but they all do. We know how this goes, and we're gonna see with her too. Anyway, so the shrimp fell on her lap, and I wrote, "Good," because you should have put it in a Tupperware container, you stupid dum dum. This would have been solved. You know what I mean? So he got a hotel for them for the night, apparently as a surprise. He says, "I never used to be a one burner kind of guy," which basically it's kind of him saying that you're going to stick to the one burner. Instead, he's been a four top stove because he can't stay to one burner. Lord of mercy. Um, he says it's time for me to change my ways. We'll see. Unless Aunt Spring is correct and you went home with Vicky the night before or whatever it was. So she's landed. While he's waiting, some airport employee just randomly comes up to him saying, "I'm a big fan." That was producer driven. Come on. That was a plant. She goes to do her Darcying up because she smells like shrimp. Then we have their first meeting. It's sweet. It's fine. No big deal. So she's like, "So I got you the Chinese food, but it's fucked up. Don't eat that." No, you're gonna friggin' eat that. You're gonna eat that because she brought that here from America. So you're gonna eat that. I don't care if it's rancid. I actually don't eat if it's rancid, but it's probably not rancid. Maybe, you see, no offense, but this is why stupid people shouldn't do things. You put the food into a Tupperware container so it seals and it stays fresh. You put it in an ice pack so it stays cool. That way, no spillage, no smell, everyone's happy. He can eat his shrimp when he gets there. Problem solved. The problem is that he is a black man talking to a dumb white woman who doesn't think it all the way through. I'm sorry, I don't mean to sound like that, but black people think different. Or white people who can think similarly to black people just have maybe common sense. We'll make it about that. This girl has no common sense. All is going to be avoided. Like, how much money did you spend on this shrimp? I'm going to be talking shrimp for a minute. How much money did you spend on the shrimp to just toss it into the garbage in a couple seconds? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know American prices, okay? But something like that, because you got double the firecracker shrimp or whatever the fuck it's called. I don't eat shrimp, sorry. But, you, that kind of meal over here would probably cost about $25 easily. You spend the equivalent of 25 Canadian dollars to just toss it into the garbage? Nah, sir. You need to eat the food. You need to eat the food. I, I'm so mad. I'm so mad about the fact that the shrimp was on this plane, could have been preserved. People didn't have to smell the goddamn shrimp on the airplane. You know that was nasty. It's just like, ugh. Just not okay. Anyways, he says, no, I will eat it. Yes, the fuck you will. But like I said, this crazy bitch throws it away. Shame on you. Shame on you. Ugh. God. Anyways, so we see him on a billboard on the way to the hotel. Can I take a picture of it? What is he's going to tell you? No, it's public property. You can do whatever the hell you want. So they get to the hotel. They get into bed, and she asks, like, "What would make you leave me?" Out of curiosity, and he says, "If you can't understand my work." And she says, which will be her famous last words, "Well, I won't try to be jealous, but like, you do have beautiful women all around you." But they're not you, he says. Smooth talker. That's what he is. Um, but she says, "I got something else for you. It's lingerie, y'all." Well, he says that she could be the one, but I don't think she understands the extent of my life as a performer. Nope. No, she doesn't. Women come up on stage, pretty girls in my DMs. You did not need to say pretty girls. You didn't have to say that. You could have said girls in my DMs. You could have said that. He said pretty. Anyways, so he says pretty girls in my DMs, but we'll see. Yes, we will. We'll see how it goes. But that's the end of Aviva and Stig. We're going to take a quick break here, and when we come back, we will jump in with the rest of the episode. Hi, everyone. So I have a new product for you to partake in, one that I'm going to share with you, and that is Be Believe. So, Be Believe in the power of playful learning. So, dive into the world of wonder with Be Believe's rich collection of animations, catchy songs, playful coloring pages, hands-on activity sheets, and engaging ebooks. Each element is thoughtfully crafted to captivate young minds while reinforcing positive behaviors in a fun and meaningful way. Whether your little one is watching a magical adventure, singing along, coloring their favorite character, or reading an enchanting tale, every moment is packed with joy, learning, and imagination. So if you go to our unique code or link in order to not only support Be Believe, but also support the podcast, you can head to be-believe.com/reality2. So that's www.believe.com/reality2. So that is REALITEATWO. And the link is also in the show notes, where you can also link to that. So head on over to Be Believe with our unique code link, and you can unleash good behavior through enchanting tales, where imagination and good behavior unite. Thank you, Be Believe, for supporting this podcast. Now, back to the show. And I am back. All right, let's jump in with Forrest and, well, then Sheena in a second. We are in Manila with Sheena. That kind of rhymes. She is getting ready to head to the airport. She's also going to be bringing jackfruit to their rental apartment so that they can get a taste of the Philippines. But she's also worried about Molly. I think that's fair. Meanwhile, Forrest and crew, they have touched down in Manila. But then Molly lost her passport, which you need your passport to exit the plane. I have a question. Are we just fiddling away with our passports? Are we just playing with our passports while on a plane? I'm just trying to understand. Because why isn't your passport in your carry-on bag, purse, wherever it is you have it, where it's safe? My question is, how does one lose it if it's securely in your bag? Anyways, she does find the passports. All is fine. Actually, it would be really funny. She lost her passport and couldn't get off that plane. She goes to, or he goes, I should say, to freshen up. And Molly says to Dev, I am thinking about what I will say to her. I really am thinking about it, but this isn't about you, Molly, because at least Dev says, settle down, Molly. Settle down. I like that. But now it's time for the meeting, and despite the fact that I have all of this information, or we have this information now about them, this was sweet, and it did make me a little teary the second time around. Molly says, go, Forrest, go. You did this on purpose, ma'am. You literally called this man Forrest so you could say something like that. Or if you could say something like, run, Forrest, run. You know what I mean? You did this on purpose. That right there. Like, seriously, did you have an autistic child and thought, that's what I'm going to call him? I'm going to call him Forrest. What is... Anyways, it is such a sweet meeting that they have. Here I am getting emotional again as I watched it the second time. Then Molly and Dev come over. Their meeting is sweet as well. Everybody's crying. Dev's crying. And apparently he doesn't cry very much, so this is crazy. And Sheena's like, I humbly apologize for everything. And Molly is kind of like, listen, I appreciate that, but let's have a good day today. Tomorrow is a new day. Because she's definitely going to be bringing it up again anyways. That's Forrest and Sheena. It's very quick. Let's move on to Trish and Rick, which is our final duo of today's episode. Here we go. It's the next morning. They had sex twice, y'all. And I guess he was good. Ew. I hate even saying that. He only gave her a sample, he says. Ugh, men that say I only gave her a sample, it's just your way of saying that's all I got. That's all I got. You know what I mean? If it was up to him, he wouldn't leave the room, but she wants to show her her home. I just want to be in bed all day. You are in Madagascar. How many people can say that? You know, you're going to be exploring this amazing country, and all you want to do is stay in bed and fuck all day. Like, no. So we go to the market. And obviously there's food, meat to be exact, and the old Asian American trope to say, or maybe a North American trope, is they just leave the meat out. Just add that. No refrigeration? Yes, because things run a little differently in other parts of the country. Or the world, I should say. The meat is killing the vibe, he says. I think you'll be fine. In her culture, she says you eat the entire animal. It's sign of respect. Waste not, want not, right? They go to the next spot, and you can see all of Madagascar there, and it's beautiful. She basically said the place that they're at is called, like, the palace, but she obviously says it in her language. We go look at some entertainment, and she starts dancing, and he's like, I just realized there's just so much I don't know about her. he thinks that it is important to be completely transparent with each other. Really? Really, sir? This is when we're going to find everything out, and I'm going to rant. So they sit and they talk, and he brings up the 5 days that she was MIA. And she says, I already told you what happened, but if you want me to explain some more, okay. She says, but you got to promise me that you're not going to get mad. Okay. Don't worry. There's no reason for him to get mad. She says that he was upset. It caused a lot of problems. But she tells him, my ex got robbed and he blamed me. We know about this already. Then her brother got into an accident with her motorcycle and he hurt someone else. Now, we do know about the motorcycle situation. We didn't realize that he hurt somebody else, but nonetheless, they were paying for that person's medical bills. She had to go to the police. So she was kind of just dealing with everything all at once. So he says, well, why didn't you tell me that? And she's like, I would call and you, or he says, sorry, I would call and you would decline it. And she says, I didn't, or she says, I didn't really want to like talk to anyone, but I wasn't, or she says, I didn't want to talk to anybody. And then he says, but I wasn't just anybody. I'm supposed to be your confidant. Really? Your confidant. Meanwhile, we'll get to it. We hadn't met yet, she says. So she didn't know how he would perceive this information. She feared that he would judge her. Now, he says, I now know that I can trust you. But now he's feeling a little guilty for not trusting her, and because I think he's kind of hoping that maybe if she did cheat, that it would make him feel better about, well, his choices. And he says, because, I made the biggest mistake of my life. And what is that mistake, sir? Please tell us. So he says, in those 5 days that he talked to his ex in Colombia, in those 5 days he ended up talking to his ex in Colombia. She kind of said, come on over, baby, just like Stigler. And he booked the flight and he went to Colombia and he spent time with her for a week. They had sex multiple times a day, every day. Even though Trish did not start talking, even though Trish did start talking again, he really believed that she had cheated on him, which obviously, he had cheated on her. So, here's the thing. I knew cheating was most likely the culprit, the thing that he was hiding from her. What I didn't expect is that the cheating, he had to literally buy a plane ticket and fly to freaking Colombia. Are you for real right now? Not that makes it any better, but it actually makes it worse. And I'm just like, this man is really out here being like, oh, you did this and you weren't talking to me, blah, blah, blah. And you literally took no time at all to start cheating on her. Like, really, no time at all. You didn't even give her a chance. And to be honest with you, she told him everything. It is not her problem that you didn't believe her because she told you everything. Everything she said, we already knew from when Rick told us she ghosted him for 5 days. This is ridiculous. He had all of the information. Now, he may have already started cheating at that point, but he had all of the information and he still went and he still did this bullshit because he can't handle being by himself for even a minute. This guy is ridiculous. This guy is back on the dating apps right now. So I think it's fair to say that they're not together, especially based on what we're going to see next week's episode. But it's just you can't. I hate him. I mean, I already had the ick before this episode. I felt the ick in the second episode, obviously, as I talked about, but this solidified it for me. It wasn't even just so much ick. It was, I hate him. I hate him. He is going down as one of the worst people of 90-day history, especially for the Americans. He's going down there with Ed. He's going down there with Angela. He's going down there with who else? Have we Gino? He's going down there with those types of people. He sucks. What was that guy that named there in the wheelchair? Anthony? What was his name? Not Anthony, that doesn't sound right. Ben. That's not Ben. I don't care. The guy in the wheelchair. He's going down with that. If anything, he's worse than that guy. And that guy was pretty freaking bad. Anyways, that's episode 3, y'all. That is it for my episode. So next you're gonna get another episode of B90, which will be episode 4. And then that's basically that, y'all. That is it for this episode. If you liked what you heard, bear with me because I have not done an outro for the podcast in quite some time. So bear with me here. So if you liked what you heard, you can go to any of your favorite podcast apps. You can follow, make sure you don't miss a single episode. And you can also rate the podcast at either Apple Podcasts or Spotify. It'd be greatly appreciated. As a reminder, any 5-star ratings that are given to the podcast or any comments that are given to the podcast will be read on the podcast, which I have done in the past. If you want to connect with the podcast through social media, you can find me at Facebook and Instagram at realityt2. You can also find me at Twitter, TikTok, and Blue Sky at realityt2pod. I believe you can email me at realityt2@hotmail.com, and you can have any inquiries, anything like that, any ideas, any shows or episodes you want me to cover, you can definitely do that over there. And I am going back to our old website, and that is at solo.to/realityt2. There you can get any of the links to anything that I didn't mention here, any of the socials, website, email, all of that. It's all there for you. And we also have a new thing there where you can help support the podcast as well. It's called a tip jar. And you can tip whatever your heart's desire if you want to support the podcast, but don't want to necessarily support the podcast in going to Patreon, for example, or any of the links in any of the advertisements. You can do it there. But since we're on the topic of Patreon, you can head on over to patreon.com/realityt2, where there you can get access to even more than what I do here. There are 3 different tiers where you can get these shows ad free, as well as our next tier up where you would get another reality show that's being covered. So, we have Jersey Shore that's been getting covered. That's still being covered currently at the time of recording of this outro, but the future is bright with what's to come in the future, which I will be discussing, or I have discussed. I don't even know. And then also our next tier is a true crime tier as well. So you can definitely head over for that. But that is basically it. I will also just quickly mention here too, if you're interested in a different take of a podcast that I'm a part of, we do things a little differently, you can head on over to Next Take Podcast, where I usually drop bonus episodes here on this feed, but there you get a lot more. And that podcast is making changes. We're growing, doing new things, but you can definitely head on over there if you want to just hear a little bit different than what I do over here. So you can find that podcast over at our website, solo.to/next take podcast. And there we'll have all the links to your desire that will link you to any of your favorite podcast apps or YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all of it. Social medias, it's all over there. But of course, you can still find that podcast at any of your favorite podcast apps. But that is it for this episode. We'll see you next time with another episode. Bye, everybody.